Give Me Grace, a podcast by Ellen and Nolan, is brought to you by the Corn Dog Company, home of the Honey Dog, and by Alder Cabinet Installations, classy cabinets for classy people, and by generous contributions from the Friends of the Give Me Grace Project. With all that said, enjoy the show.
Welcome to episode 20 of Give Me Grace. I am Alan Hansen, or Corky. This is Nolan's pet project, Nolan Mickelson. I'm just grateful to be on the leash. And so here we are.
Yeah, at times it seems like you're walking a dog. Maybe sometimes the dog is pulling you along.
Yeah, that's right.
You're pulling the dog.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, not too bad. I've had dogs that let me walk them like I let you run this podcast, I think. So yeah, that works.
If this show were a dog, it would probably be like a nice show dog, like a purebred, right?
I think it would be super ugly with a good heart. Yeah. So we have our guest coming in a second, but I have a Corky's quip.
All right.
Neil and Bonnie Sanders, we talked to them, pillars of the Grace community, Sanders Furniture and all of that.
Yeah.
When you asked them about regrets, they referred to prior podcasts, right? Episodes that they had seen where they said, it's pretty much the same as everybody else. And it made me think, because that's pretty much what I said. I wish I'd have been nicer. And that's a great regret to have. But I started thinking a little bit about regret. And I think what I would say is that the regret that I would have been nicer is a great one for the podcast because it's a general one. And sometimes we get more specific when we have guests on, maybe that I'd been mean to. I think that might have happened once or twice already. But I really did do stupid stuff that hurt people, right? My family, friends, people in town, and so I regret those things too. This is an example of something I wouldn't have mentioned. I wouldn't have thought of with regret because this is small in sort of the barrel of regrets that I have grown up. When I was a junior, we made a trip to West Side to play them in basketball. And sometime after the varsity game, I think it was a classmate of ours, and I'm not going to say a name for multiple reasons. One is I'm not 100% sure who it was, but I think I know. Classmate of ours and I we were in the West Side visitors locker room, and there were just like basketball shorts sitting out. And so we each took a pair. We just stole them. We thought it would be funny. And then
It was funny at the time.
it was funny. Yeah, it was. It's true. We thought it would be funny, and we were right for about 16 hours. Because what happened the next day is I wore them to our basketball practice.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Coach Kelsey said, "Where did you get those?" So, I knew I was caught. And so I came clean. I said, "Yeah, we took them from the locker room." So they called West Side. And get this. They called West Side, and I think it was Coach Keel took the other offender and myself to Dayton, Idaho, during school in an afternoon assembly, and we stood up in front of West Side High and apologized for stealing their gym shorts.
Goodness.
That happened. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Oh.
So that's an example of the crap I did. So being nice, yeah, that's a good one for the pod, but these other ones will crop up. So that's regret. Anyways, do you have a Nolan's notes?
Yeah. Real quick, Give Me Grace is working because I reconnected with a fellow friend of mine, a really good friend of mine who I hadn't really had conversation with since about 4 years ago. And we talked all afternoon yesterday. So
That's awesome.
it was great, and planning to have him on the show, maybe sometime in January or February or something like that. But
Okay.
I think
So
he started watching Give Me Grace and
it's like this Nolan kid ain't so bad.
is loving everything about it, and said he was touched touched
Wow.
deeply, I think is the words that he used,
Touch deeply.
by Give Me Grace.
I think I know who it is because I think you mentioned it, and
Yeah.
the cool dude. He's one of my looking back, he's one of my favorites of the class of 88.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
Yeah, he
So
is.
if we can get him on the show, then yeah, oh, that's awesome. And I'm glad overall, more so that you guys are reconnected. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. We'll look forward to that. We had Brent and Colette Keel on, and that broke us away from 89, class of 89 a little bit. But this is one of our classmates from a year before. So
Well, what really happened is that a class of 88 reached out to me, and I was like, wow, she's reaching out to me, like, that's interesting.
yeah.
And so we started chatting, and I could tell she's been watching the show, and I'm like, you want to be on the show, don't you? And she says, yeah, I'd love to. And I said, yeah, let's do it.
So
And
do it.
so
Yeah.
we're
So
gonna
that
have,
the floodgates,
yeah.
the flood 88s.
And I
So
reached out to a lot of class of 88, but they didn't respond. But they're probably like, is this spam? What's going
yeah,
on?
really, that's true. Yeah.
But
Well, maybe when some of their classmates are on, then they'll come because we've got 3 scheduled, I think, right? As of
four,
right now, 4.
four scheduled, and then we talked about in the conception of this show that it doesn't have to be just 89.
No, absolutely not. I want to get my neighbor Andy May on.
Right.
He's got some stories about the Hansons, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. So
We're all like one big family. We're just brothers and sisters in this big family of
that's right.
Grace, Idaho.
Oh, all right. We should get our guest in.
Yeah, unless he's falling asleep.
Yeah. So let's do it. Here we go. Bump, 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 bump. Connecting
Okay.
to
Let's see what
audio.
happens.
Oh, yeah. He's got it on there. Who he is. See if it's gonna
He
work.
can hear us. He can't see us. No.
I've got him still connecting. There we go. Connected to
Mhm.
audio.
Okay.
And
He's on mute. No, he's not.
can you hear us, Devin?
Okay, how about now?
There you
How
go.
about now?
Woo-hoo!
Hey,
There's Devin with the help from his
There.
family.
all the
Awesome.
tech support available.
Yeah, takes a village, doesn't it?
Oh, I tell you. And the crazy thing is I've done so many Zooms, but this is a new computer and I hadn't done one on here.
Oh, okay.
That's the problem.
Very good. Oh, we're gonna get to that of why you're zooming so much. So
Yeah, that's one of the problems.
we'll definitely get to that. Okay.
Thanks for
Well, it's
joining.
great to see you.
Yeah, you guys too. I've really enjoyed these. These are awesome what you guys are doing.
Oh, good. I'm glad you
good.
find connections. I mean, we all lived in the same town, so there would be
Well, that's
lots of
funny because when you
connections.
guys, when you started doing your class, and I'm going, I know those people too. It's like they're my class.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Devin was telling me you were kind of like trying to answer the questions or something.
Oh yeah, because it's like somebody was talking about like the dance club down in Logan, and I'm sitting there
Oh
going,
yeah.
it's Retrix, you know.
He's trying to tell us through
Oh
the
yeah,
computer.
because for like 3 episodes, we had no idea what it was called. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and I think it's Chubbuck actually.
Nobody knows. Okay, we're done.
Wow, that's the soonest Chubbuck has ever come up in an
Hey,
episode.
just trying to help.
They have a second location in Chubbuck.
Yeah, there you go.
Devin, would you have gone to a dance club in Chubbuck when you were in high school?
No, I don't dance.
Oh, so you didn't go to this place, but you knew it.
I knew of it, but whenever
Oh.
somebody mentioned it, I'm like, I'll go to Logan with you, but I'm not going to a dance club.
Oh, so you'd like go to an arcade or something, or do something else.
No, I wouldn't even do that.
We'll
In
get into that.
fact, yeah, you'll get into that, but it's like Rusty McCurdy and I used to play the music at the dances,
Oh,
and that was
well,
why
that's
it's
right.
like I still want to go to the dances, but I don't want to dance. So if I'm stuck behind that stereo system,
There you go.
I won't have to dance.
Oh, Devin, I just realized something. Probably the last time I saw you, you hosted a dance.
And then the thing quit.
Well, I don't remember that part, but I remember you hosted a dance, and part of the cover charge was to help raise money for your mission, as I recall. Does that sound
No.
right?
Well, my mom was she was taking money at the door, and she was probably saying that's what it was for.
Oh, well, maybe I assumed that too. But you had a cover
What-
charge, and I
What was crazy?
I
Go ahead.
stiffed you because I said that speaking of regrets, Noel and I were just talking about regrets before you came on, that I didn't have enough money. And so I said, I'll pay you later. And I never paid you. So I owe you like $5.
I'll get you a Venmo account to send that to.
Yeah, but that's $5 in 1990 money, 1989 money.
A lot of interest.
But that was the first dance I hosted without Rusty, and he always wanted to keep the volume down, and I was like, no, let's crank it up a little bit.
Oh no.
Well, come to find out, it overheated the thing,
Mhm.
and so then I had to basically give everybody's money half their money back
Okay.
because they didn't get the full.
Okay.
Then everybody leaves, and the thing cooled off, and it came back on. I'm like, oh darn, too bad I kicked them all out.
Come back. Yeah.
We did that to Josh Gibbs's stereo too. We ruined Josh Gibbs's stereo at
Oh.
a dance.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
So we have to run through these questions.
Yeah, we do.
Tell us, first of all, where do you live nowadays?
I live in Paradise, Utah,
Oh, okay.
so 12 miles south of Logan.
Right.
Yeah. So when you said Paradise, Utah, it wasn't like I live in Paradise, Utah.
It's Utah.
Now, like in parentheses was Paradise, comma, Utah, at the
Yes.
town named Paradise.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel sheepish or embarrassed about the town you live in? Like that people think you're like high and mighty?
No,
Okay.
because if they come here, they go, wow, it really is paradise.
Because we're right. So
In fact, it's like I commute an hour each way, morning and night
wow.
to go to Ogden because it's like, no, I don't want to live in Ogden.
Oh,
Oh.
you know, Ogden is Utah's version of Pocatello, right?
Right.
I
So-
can see that.
Yeah, yeah. So that's my theory. They're all on I-15 because Montana's is Butte. And so you got Butte, America, then you head down to Polk,
Yeah.
then you got Ogden. Yeah. So
Mhm.
there it is. Yeah, there's a town in Montana that's on I-90 near the Idaho border called Superior. I go through there. I always get kind of mad. Like,
Yeah.
how dare you? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It's like, who said that?
yeah, it's like, where do you get off calling yourselves superior? So I just wondered
Yeah.
if you ever felt that from your point of view.
No, I told someone once, they're like, so you're from Grace and now you're in Paradise. So you fell from Grace and ended up in Paradise.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember, I don't know who I was with, but we were going to Paradise, and there was that song, Almost Paradise. We're knocking on heaven's door or something like
Oh
that.
yeah.
So we were almost to Paradise. We were knocking on Hiram's door. or something.
Hiram's door. Well done.
What's the next
And
town
then
next to Paradise?
Hiram.
Yeah.
And
There
then
is
you
a
go
town?
past, yeah. And then
Okay.
you go past Paradise, you get to Avon.
Okay. Oh,
You're up
okay.
in-
And then from Avon, you head out into the canyon.
Well, not probably the canyon you're thinking. You're
Oh,
maybe
because it's
thinking
the
of
other way. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm thinking of
'Cause
Providence.
this canyon, it's just a dirt road.
Okay. Okay. And so it's the other way. It's like more east. It's east.
Yeah. Seeing Mountain was like, take me down to the Paradise City where the girls are,
There
where
you
the
go.
grass is green and the girls are pretty. My wife's from Paradise, so
There you go.
Ah, very good. Okay.
So we'll have to get into that. So you've talked about you traveled to Ogden, home of Weber State University, which I'm a Weber State grad. So I won't be offended by the fact that you said that Ogden was rough,
Oh,
yeah.
but we didn't live there very long.
people who go to ISU, they know exactly what Pocatello is, but the school's good. Same with Weber
Well,
State.
my wife graduated from Weber State, but she never went there. She went to Logan through
Huh.
Utah State and got a Weber State degree.
Okay.
So,
That's weird.
yeah,
They have a Weber State at Logan.
Yeah.
something. It was the nursing thing. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like U of I has a bunch of stuff in Boise. Colleges in crappy towns will set up shop in nice towns.
We'll get this other crowd if we
That's right.
if we
Yeah.
That's
make
right.
another base over here.
That's right. We need these kids. Yeah.
So what do you do in Ogden?
I work for the power company, which
Okay.
it used to be Utah Power and Light. I've been working there for like 22 years for all the hydro plants in Utah. So from Cutler Dam, which is west of Logan, to
Okay.
St. George is my area.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then I'm now the foreman for the crew. So all the maintenance that gets done on any of the hydro plants, electrical, mechanical, whatever.
I have a friend who has a similar job here in Montana, and he loves making jokes about his damn job. Do you
Mhm.
those jokes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you the damn man now?
I am the damn man. I tell people that we're just making water safe. We run it through our facility, take all the electricity out of it, and then send it down the river.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's nice. I worked for Utah Power and Light one summer.
I heard that through one of these podcasts. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that.
No.
Was my dad working there at the time?
I think so. Yeah, I think he was, actually. You're right. Yeah, I think so.
What's
Wow.
crazy is I've talked to quite a few people that have worked there, like Andy May.
Oh, okay.
And he starts telling me what a great job it was. And I'm like, my dad worked there, and yet I didn't realize this was an option.
How did you not get that job? That's the
I
best.
think-
That's the best job I had growing up. It was awesome.
And that's what everybody tells me.
Yeah.
In fact, I was talking to Andy May one day, and he said, you know those old wooden desks, and they have that little thing that slides out. It looks like a breadboard.
Yeah.
He's like, do you know what that's for? And I'm like, I don't know. And he goes, I'll show you. And he sits down in his chair and puts his feet up on. It's like, that's what we did. I'm like, oh, it's not like that now. We work hard.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, you could have been mowing lawns like Kath did.
Yeah.
Kathy Kimball. She mowed lawns
Oh.
down there. Yeah. The summer
Yeah. And I was working for her dad feeding the fish.
You
Is
worked
that
there
right?
too.
I worked there
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was with Cody, not with you. You were already done by then, probably.
Yeah. I think Cody was there a little bit while I was.
I bet you two overlapped, and then I worked
Yeah.
there just one summer. I think it was before my senior year, I think. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think.
We've established that Corky's worked for almost everybody.
It's one of our running gags is I worked for just about everybody.
Kind of one and done. They wouldn't bring you back, or
That is precisely you don't know, Devin, how true that is. That's exactly.
Why don't you go work at the dam or something?
Yeah. No,
the
that's
school couldn't take him anymore.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They ruined the school. They
Yeah.
moved
Fish farm. Yeah. I was
killed all the fish.
was down there.
Yeah.
I worked for Lonnie Roberts' stepdad, Chuck Smith. We were out at Monsanto, and he asked me to go get like a marker out of his truck. And I was walking in to like the elevator to go back and dropped it, and it went right down in the crevice. And I told him I didn't know what to do. I told him I couldn't find it. And he was like looking everywhere for it. I felt so bad.
He's going, you had one job.
I know.
Job.
Literally
Simply get a marker.
terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible helper. Yeah.
Probably his fault for poor training.
Or poor
Yes.
hiring.
Yeah.
You said it.
So do you drive back and forth every day?
Yes.
Oh,
Unless
man.
I go to some of those plants that are further, like St. George, and then you stay for a week or two, but
Yeah.
How often are you on the road?
daily.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like further than.
Away from home kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not as bad as you'd think. I mean, because when I started, we had 13 plants and they've sold off some and different things, and we're down to 8. And so the 3 that are down in St. George are really small, and we just go down there if there's a major problem.
Okay.
And so usually I spend a week or 2 in the spring and a week or 2 in the fall down there. And other than that, I'm
Okay.
just to Salt Lake and back or somewhere during the day. And,
Everywhere else is a day drive away then.
yeah. And then I go up to as far as Ashton and help up there. Jody Smith has the same job I do up there.
Oh, that's cool.
Sometimes we'll go up and help his crew, or
Jody
Jody
Smith
worked at
from class of 90?
90. He was our quarterback when we were seniors. He was a junior.
Is that the guy you're talking about?
yeah, Vance's little brother. Yep.
Yeah. And he worked at Utah Power and Light the summer after I did. And he probably
Jody did.
was still there. Yeah. Yeah. So after I got home from college, I wanted to work there, and they said we already hired our people for the summer. So I worked for Craig Worker.
Sorry, we're full.
Like, no.
Wait a minute. Who is it? Yeah, we're full.
Yeah. Yeah. We might have a job. Wait, who is this? So yeah, Jody, maybe he always worked for them then. Maybe he just stayed
No,
on.
then he went to work contracting or working for contractors and
Okay.
that. And then he and I hired on about the same time. He called
okay.
me and he was like, "Hey, they're offering this job or whatever, And anyway, I helped him.
Oh, that's cool.
Things worked out too.
So how is that drive in the wintertime when you're driving back and forth?
It's not bad because I got to go up over Sardine Canyon, and that's like the first one they hit, So it's like,
Yeah.
all right, we got to hit the hills first. And if it's bad, I just turn around and say, well, today's a snow day.
There you go. That's smart.
Yeah.
Tell us about your family.
So my wife, Tricia, she's, like I said, she's from Paradise here.
Okay.
Kind of a crazy story how we met, if you want to hear it.
Oh,
Absolutely. We're all about it.
All right.
you love crazy stories.
So she was still living at home, and she and her little sister were both getting ready. Her little sister was in middle school, and she was getting ready to go to school, and my now wife was getting ready to go to work, and they were fighting over bathroom space. And so they kind of got in a little argument or whatever. And so her sister goes to school, and she happens to be like one of the office aides, kind of 1 hour you can help in the office or whatever. She walks into the office and she's like, "Does anybody know anybody my sister can marry?" Because she's like ready to get her out of the house. So my oldest brother, Gary,
Yes.
he was the vice principal there. So he's standing there in the office and he's like, "How old's your sister?" 25. How old's your brother? And he goes, "I got a brother who's 27.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
And so they didn't tell Trish anything about it. So her sister, Jamie, she'd come home and she'd talk to her 2 brothers and her mom. And she's like, "I'm trying to set her up with this guy. What should we find out about him?" So like they're doing like 20 questions every day, and they're bringing in Gary. He's like, "Hey, does he drive a pickup? Can he walk through a pasture without going, ooh, if he steps in cow pie, all these different things." And so it's like,
Yes.
"Dude, you got to go out there." She's like, "These are pretty good questions."
Yeah.
Does he own a snowmobile, and all this stuff? And so anyway, they got to the point where it was like, we better ask for a picture. So they were asking me for a picture,
Mm-hmm.
and they said we better let her know what we're doing, because if she finds out, she might not be too happy with us. And so
Yeah.
then they told her, but then she's coming to school and she's telling Gary's like, he didn't call her. And he's like, "Look, he's busy. He said he'll call.
Yeah.
And so finally Gary's like, "Dude, you've got to call this girl because her little sister's driving me crazy." Well, I finally called her, and we talked on the phone for like, I think 2 hours the first time I called. And then we went out a couple nights later or whatever.
And where were you living at the time?
I was in Logan.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
I had bought a house, and so I was living in Logan. In fact, I had been roommates with Ryan Andresen for a while until I bought this house, and then I moved out and stuff. But yeah, so
Okay.
Awesome.
So we got married and we lived in Logan in that house I'd bought for like just a month or so. And she says, "You want to sell this and move to Paradise?" I said, "Yep." So we sold that house and moved out here. And then we've got 2 kids. I've got a daughter that's married. They're living here right now. They're building a house over by Tremonton.
Oh, okay.
So they're living here with us now. And then I've got a son that's going to be 16 in about 3 weeks. So
Awesome.
that's all for us, those 2.
Two, and that's call it quits, huh?
Sometimes it's enough and a lot.
So you didn't want to have 11 kids like the Mickelsons?
Well, we were lucky to get those 2. So
We had 3, so we're all kind of like small families. So
yeah. No, Brent and Curtis took that role, and that's fine. They let them.
yeah. Let them experience all that joy, right?
Yes.
What about pets? Any pets running around?
No, we kind of come to an agreement when we got married. There will be no pets. And
That's
so
Right. Wow. And
we have a pet on loan right now because my daughter's here, and we agreed a couple years ago that she could get a dog if she'd leave the boys alone. And so she got the dog, and then she got engaged, and here we are.
I was gonna say maybe that didn't work.
No, because we got the boy here and the dog.
That's true. You lost twice.
Did you say your kids' names?
Oh, Whitney
Whitney. Okay.
and Jaden.
Okay.
Awesome.
Whitney.
What high school does Jaden go to?
He goes to Mountain Crest
Okay.
with Kevin Anderson.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's really amazing though that you were aligned on that, and then you didn't let the kids like, oh look, they were giving away puppies down the street. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Stuck to your
And I'd been like, oh, that's so sad. We can give it away as well.
So before you came on, I was kind of filling in Corky how we're related.
Yeah, we need to
And,
talk about this.
We thought it would be fun if you want to name all of our cousins.
Huh.
I couldn't.
There's like 88 of them. I think I have 88 first cousins.
I think something like that.
That's
that side.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember at our grandmother's funeral in 1988.
Yes, because she passed away at our house, basically.
Yeah. They said that she had 89 grandchildren or something like that,
Grandchildren.
and 89 great grandchildren. So
Yeah.
they were pretty prolific in their day.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I was telling Nolan, Devin, I can't say for sure that I knew you guys were first cousins.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't.
The Thomas
I heard that.
name
Either I
throws
forgot or I
it
didn't.
off, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
So just think, in his class of 88, you had at least 3 or 4 cousins?
3. I had 3 female cousins. So you take the dating pool.
Yeah,
Of a
Grace
class
High,
of
it's already
40.
pretty shallow.
Yeah. You take 40, you cut it in half because it's going to be half boys. Then you take 20 and you take 3 right off the top because
Another 15% gone.
But
Yeah.
you had the in. Like you could say, hey, Heidi, you got any friends? Like you could set me up with there.
Yeah. And then the other thing, the party line. You remember the party line? I don't know if
Yes.
you guys probably had them.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. And you
When
only
you
had
had
to
to
buy
call
a
The shared line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your neighbor phone.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
so like if they were on the phone too long, you'd end up getting on there and going, I really need the phone or whatever.
Yeah.
Or you could pick it up and you could listen.
Right.
So Connie Jorgensen, she decides she's going to help me out, right?
Mhm.
So she's like, who do you want to know about? You know, who do you want to see if like, share, or whatever? So
Mhm.
I'd come up with a name or whatever. And she's like, okay, I'm getting ready to call them. So after I call, then you just pick up and listen. So then she'd call and ask these girls all these questions, and I'm sitting there listening.
That's a dangerous business, though, right? I don't know if I'd want to know what people would say if they don't know I'm listening.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You got to be brave.
You might have come out
Ready,
okay. I
ready for
wouldn't.
the hurt.
Wow. How about
Hey,
that?
can I ask you, and you don't have to answer, do you still keep in touch with Heather, Heidi, and Sarah?
Not so much.
You haven't had much contact with them?
Not really. I mean, if I run into them type of thing,
Mhm.
Heather maybe more than anything.
Okay.
In fact, when I first got back off my mission, I went over to Heather's house because she was living in Smithfield,
Okay.
and her husband, Lance, he was working nights or graveyard or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go to her house and I'm just sitting there visiting with her because I just got back off my mission, hadn't seen her in a while or whatever. And in high school and that, Heather and I were pretty close. And so we're sitting there talking, and it gets about midnight and he comes home. Well, he's never met me, has no idea who I am. So he walks in and here's this guy talking to his wife at midnight, and he kind of freaked out for a minute until she's like, "Whoa, this is my cousin."
My cousin, yeah.
It's even worse.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, we're kind of already starting to talk about what did you do after high school. So you graduated in 88. What did you do next?
So when I graduated, I was only 17, so I had a long time. I knew I was going on a mission, but I had a while. So I went down to Utah State for a year and started into the electrical engineering program. And while I was doing that, I needed to find a job. So Amy Jardine's dad was down here working as an electrician on the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found out he was needing some help. So I went and talked to him and got hired on there. And so I was working as like a pre-apprentice or something like that, and going to school and just being frustrated and thinking I don't really like this school thing, and going to work after school doing that, going, yeah, I could enjoy this. And so that's kind of how I ended up getting into the electrical. So anyway, yeah, I worked there and went to school for like a year, and then I got my mission call. I actually got 2 calls. The first one was to Recife, Brazil.
Okay.
And in order to go there, I had to get the typhoid shots. So I went up to Soda, got the first typhoid shot. I came home and started going, I don't feel very well. So I went down to my bedroom and just laid down on the bed. Nobody else was home. And pretty soon I started kind of shaking. So my whole body was like tremors and stuff, and I'm like, this is weird. And then all of a sudden I couldn't move my arms. I couldn't move my legs. And I heard my mom and dad come home. And so I'm thinking I better get somebody down here to see what's going on. And so I thought, well, I better yell for them, so I'm like, and I couldn't speak. I couldn't do anything. And so my mom comes down because she'd seen my car there. So she comes downstairs to check on me or whatever. She walks in the room and I'm still laying there on the bed kind of, and she goes, what's going on? And I'm just like, so she calls the hospital and it's like, hey, my son had this shot, and they're like, you better get him up here and give him something to counteract it. So dad had to pack me up the stairs and out to the car, and to the hospital we went. And so after that, they said, yeah, we can't give him the second one. It'll probably kill him. So then I had to wait for another call, and actually got called to Spain. So I figured I'd be in the States for sure.
Yeah, really. You figure somewhere that didn't require typhoid. Yeah. How about that?
Which Spain didn't, but yeah. So anyway, I went to Spain, went to Bilbao. And then after my mission, I came back, and my thoughts were, I'm just going to get into the electrical apprenticeship program, and that's the route I'm going. And mom thought, that's probably not a good way to go. You really need to go to the university and get you a good education. And I'm like, I just don't want to. I didn't like it while I was there. She's like, yeah, but now you've been on a mission. You got better study habits. I'm like, fine, I'll try it again. So I went for another semester, and I was like, no. So I got out of there, signed up for the apprenticeship, and went that route. And then, like I mentioned earlier, I was a bit older when I got married. I just kind of had a good time and did my thing, and like I say, bought a house and pretty much did whatever I wanted. And
that's pretty cool.
I still settled down, but
that's enterprising to buy a house when you're single in your 20s. That's pretty good.
Well, then when you find someone, you're like, I have a house.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I don't live in my car. I have a house.
That's right. Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a really good point.
But
I was like, when I met Nicole, I was like, I have a bike. No, it's really nice.
Yeah. I'll pick you up. I got pegs on the back.
I mentioned that I was roommates with Ryan Andresen, and I think I was the roommate that you probably didn't want, because when you get in those places, there's like no parking and all that. So then I show up, I've got a truck, 2 cars, a motorcycle, a snowmobile.
You had collected some things, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Trish and all her people were asking questions, and one of them was, does he have a snowmobile? And you had a snowmobile. You could answer yes to that. That seems pretty rare to me. Maybe I've been away from that area for a long time, but how many 20-something-year-olds have a snowmobile? That's impressive.
Yeah, maybe not that many.
Maybe not that many. Yeah. Yeah.
But the
And
Thomas
it was
boys always
interesting.
had, you always had like, you guys were speed demons, right?
Yeah,
Kind of.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not that Sean wasn't.
Right. We all had a heavy foot, I think, at times.
I was going to say, plus, if you took the D50 after he had it, it was ready to race. So you
Yeah,
were
it
probably
was.
too.
Yeah. But I think Gary always had the fast stuff, right?
He had that Mustang, and then I bought it from him when he left on his mission. And
Okay. Well, what else happened after high school? You got married. When did you start working? You said 22 years ago.
yeah, so I went through an apprenticeship and worked for a contractor. And I worked there like 9 years, just doing, commercial buildings and industrial buildings. And then I went to work for another guy that I had worked with as just, that he went out on his own and started a business. And then I went to work for him for about 4 years, and then got the opportunity to take the job with the power company, and it was a lot better benefits and pay and stuff like that. And so I took that, and like I said, been staying there for a lot of years. So, and my wife is an RN.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Does
you
she-
mentioned nursing.
Does she work locally there?
Yeah, in fact, she now works from home. And you think an RN from home doesn't make a lot of sense, but anymore it does.
Yeah.
And she actually has like 70 patients.
Yeah.
And it's
So
the
she'll like
patients.
pop in the room on the camera and ask them how things are going, that kind of thing.
Yeah, they didn't used to do that, but they're starting now. And I can help her with the Zoom if she needs it. But
On your old computer.
yes,
So what do you do so much that you use Zoom? You check in on the other.
just COVID. Well, I'm on the town council.
Oh,
And
wow.
so when COVID hit, we couldn't get in person meetings, and so we were doing some Zoom there.
Oh, that's cool.
You're on the town council of Paradise?
Yes.
That's
It's
awesome.
not a city.
Yeah, I did the planning and zoning for a couple of years, and then moved into the town council.
So it's at a town, not a city?
It just bumped up to where it is moving to a city. It's like we hit I think 1,000 residents, pushed us into the city limit, thing. And
Grace is a city, right?
We call
yeah,
it.
City of Grace.
Maybe Idaho has a different threshold for what distinguishes a town from a city. I don't know.
I don't know.
So do you like being on the town council? And
Yeah, it's been good. We've got a real good group in there right now, and we've been able to get some things done. And
you meet with the mayor?
yeah,
Do they have a town manager?
yes.
Okay, that's cool. I think you're the first person that we've had that's
Involved in local government.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I didn't really
closest I get to
think I was going to.
The closest I get to local government, being involved in local government, is criticizing it. So you're on the other side. I'm sure you love it. Yeah.
You feel that your people in your community might target someone that's on the town council with like toilet paper or things like that?
No, not so much.
Like
The problem we've had is like around Easter we do bunny rabbit chase, and so like we'll have 20 bunny rabbits, and if a kid catches a bunny rabbit, gets to take it home with them. Well, PETA found out about it, and they started saying that we're bunny bashing and all this stuff, and it's like, no, we're not. We're just country folk having a good time,
Wow.
And so PETA got involved, and I got like 20,000 emails of like hate mail on that account kind of thing,
So awesome. Wow.
So I'm like the IT guy going, you got to figure out how to delete all those so I don't have to go through and one by one.
Wow, really? Yeah, so that's really cool. You're on PETA's radar. That's
yes.
You're on the bad list. So the rabbits, they're just wild rabbits?
No, they're just purchased local for your entertainment and pet.
But your kids didn't participate in this then, because why would they catch them? Couldn't bring it home.
They participated, but for some reason when they go, I had hold of one of their legs, so they couldn't get out there very quick.
It's like something tripped me.
Yeah.
That's odd.
And it's
you really
called
didn't catch them, huh?
It's called the bunny what?
What do they call that? The
The
bunny
bunny-
chase, I
The bunny
believe.
chase.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I
We'll
must
have
They
to
do
look
some
that up.
chickens too.
Sometimes bunnies don't run very fast, right? They just kind
Yeah,
of
when they get that many kids coming after them, they just hunker down.
they freeze.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Well, that's fun. All right. Should we move to section 2?
Now let's move to faves. What's your favorite food?
Don't say rabbit.
Favorite-
Tastes like chicken.
People eating tasty animals, PETA. Probably Mexican. I like tacos, Mexican food.
That's must be he runs in the family.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's
Well,
a
he went to
mix.
Spain though, but they don't eat Mexican food there.
They don't. And that I didn't realize that until I got there because I was
Yeah.
like, sweet, I like Mexican food. And you get there and they're like, we don't do hot.
No,
They're,
like-
they're awful snooty about it as well.
Yeah.
I've
a
heard.
little bit. You eat paella?
Yes. That's good stuff.
What is the other thing they have there? Gazpacho.
Gazpacho.
Yeah. But we got a soup. I can't even remember.
I think so.
Cold soup. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I had a roommate from Spain in college, and I thought the same thing too. I'm like, tortillas? He's like, no, tortas. We don't eat tortillas. There's no such thing as tortillas in Spain.
The regular size. They're not little tortillas. They're tortas.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
fun.
So
What do you wash down your Mexican food with? What's the beverage?
Coke Zero.
I'm drinking a little Coke Zero too.
It's hard to
Yeah.
find though, right?
No, not out here.
Us? No.
In Texas, it goes off the shelves real quick.
Oh, you just go to the Maverick. Every corner's got a Maverick, and every Maverick's got Coke Zero on the tap. And I limit it though, not more than like 3 mugs a day.
No, there you go.
Yeah.
You gotta have your limits.
Oh man.
What about dessert? It's like Coke Zero pops out of the freezer.
Pie. I prefer pie.
Fine.
What kind of pie?
Well, it's like my wife's grandpa said, there's only 2 kinds of pie, hot and cold, and they're all good.
Mhm.
Probably cherry pie.
Cherry pie.
Apple.
Cherry's great. What about pecan pie?
I
This
don't
is a
think so.
Texas thing. I never got into it. I hate it.
Yeah.
It's not pie. It's
Yeah.
like
No,
don't put nut in a crust and tell me it's pie.
I can't
It
say
doesn't
that I've
belong
ever
there.
tried it.
Oh, yeah. You don't like it either, no?
I can't even say I've ever tried it. Like
No.
I know what pies
like-
I like, and I just stick with those pies. So
yeah. The pecan pie, that's like a party foul right now.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. What about music? You listen to music when you're
Music.
driving around?
Yeah. So I was Def Leppard then, and I'm Def Leppard now.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most any classic rock, I'm still there. In fact, my wife and I just went to Def Leppard concert in San Diego last month,
Oh, wow.
all the way to San
and they
Diego.
had, there was Def Leppard, Journey, and
Yeah.
Steve Miller,
Yeah.
all 3 of them.
Holy cow.
Mhm.
That's awesome.
And Of
It
those
was
three,
great.
if you were going to rank them, you said Def Leppard will be number 1. Who would?
I would say Journey next, and
Wow.
then Steve Miller. But my wife she wasn't as familiar with Steve Miller,
Hmm.
and I'm like, you will be once you start hearing their songs. And she
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
I like Steve Miller quite a bit better
Yeah.
than Journey. So.
Yeah,
Miller's awesome. Really playful songs. Yeah.
catchy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fun songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Abracadabra was a big one, I think, when we were in elementary school.
Yeah. Does it bother you that they spell leopard the way they do?
Nope.
Does it bother you they spell deaf the way they do?
True.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
You're missing an A. What? I can't hear you.
Very weird. Awesome. So do you listen to playlists and stuff when you're on your commute, or you just open up the radio to classic rock?
Usually just the radio. Once in a while, I'll hit some Spotify and listen to some playlists and stuff, but it's like drives my daughter crazy. She's like, I don't know why you guys waste your time listening to the radio and all these commercials.
You can change the channel when the commercial comes on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's
that's true. Yeah,
three
you
sets.
have 3 stations and you go between them, and you never hear.
They probably seems like they all have their commercials at the same time, though, right?
Yeah, they do
That
top of
they
the
do.
hour. Yeah. Then you turn it down and have a little conversation for a couple minutes with your family member. And
So, does Def Leppard have new music?
I don't think they have anything
No.
real new.
They just go around playing their hits, huh?
Yeah.
Have some good ones.
Yeah, some of the kids on our show have already talked about they like Def Leppard as well. So
Yeah, that's true.
kids, I call you
Photographs.
50-year-old people kids.
Yep.
Very good. So that's me. Do you listen to podcasts at all?
There's one. Give me grace somehow.
Something like that. Yeah.
You listen to it or watch it?
It depends on what I'm doing.
Okay.
There's been a few times where I've just listened as I was commuting.
Yeah.
But I do try to watch most of them because I want to see who it is and what's
I
up.
want to see what we all look like, right? How funny we all look.
Yeah. Whenever Nolan says you got to watch it, I just think, man, I know what I look like, and that's enough to keep me from.
Yeah, no, I've had some people I've tried to invite to come on the show, and they're like, I need to lose some weight before I come on the show. And I'm like, well, we're only looking at you from like the neck up. So it's
I'm sure that inspired a lot of confidence.
Yeah,
no, really what it is. Nolan and I are the perfect hosts. We're just like, man, I can come on with these two.
Yeah.
You look good. So what about hobbies? Are you still snowmobiling?
No, we sold the snowmobiles. I had a neighbor kid. He was probably 19 or 20, and he got caught in an avalanche and died. And
oh my goodness,
my wife got really, she's like, I just don't know if we should keep going. And I'm like, I'm good with that. So we sold those, and we just do more like side by sides. And
okay,
we had a Jeep for a few years, and we did that. And
do you go up that canyon that's a dirt road up past Paradise there? Cool.
And we can take dirt roads from here and get over to Bear Lake and Randolph and Lake Town. And
wow, that's cool. Have you done that in a side by side, or is that a Jeep?
Yeah, I did the side by side over to Randolph and went to a little burger joint, and we ate and then came back. And that took, I think it was like 3 hours round trip to eat and everything. So
that's not too bad. Okay.
No, my hobbies are pretty much anything I can do with my wife. We just like to get out, and if it's even just a road trip or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you both enjoy listening to classic rock, so that helps on the road trips.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys you matched up on quite a few.
Yeah, the 20 questions. That's not bad. I mean, if they're looking to match people up better, maybe just try that.
Yeah,
it's true. And so she would agree. We click. We agree on 99% of everything.
Yeah. So if anyone in our audience is watching that it's single and you want to meet somebody, have your little brother or sister ask their middle school principal if they know anybody.
Yeah, that's essentially the way.
I think it happens a lot.
It's a pretty common way to meet people, huh?
Yeah. Internet my eye.
Good thing Gary was a principal, huh?
Yeah. What was crazy too is I think it was like 3 months before that. I told him, I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like you're going to introduce me to my wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That is true, though. I mean, he's in a profession where he would come into contact with marriageable females, the teachers,
Not
but
middle school though. Yeah.
No. Hold on.
I should make my wife come over and say hi.
Yes, you should.
Oh yeah, if she's in earshot.
We always
we
always invite the spouse to come on, and usually out doing something because they know they don't want to get.
It's true.
Yeah.
Trish. Is it Trish or Trisha?
It's both.
Okay. Hello, Trisha.
Hi.
I'm Devin's cousin Nolan, by the way.
Hi.
I'm Alan.
Devin's cousin.
People from my hometown know me as Corky, but I'm actually Alan, as it turns out. So
yeah, when your Alan kept coming up as on a Facebook, somebody might know or whatever, I kept going, who is this Alan Hansen? I'm like, wait a minute, that's Corky. Okay.
Yeah, I got rid of that when I moved to New York, but here we are.
Yeah.
I have a question for Trisha.
All right.
Does Devin still do that thing with his eyelids?
Yes, it grosses me out. And being a nurse, I keep telling him they're going to stay that way. And then we're going to be a big.
It's a bend thing, right?
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah. I remember that now.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
That's funny. You guys remember that.
Oh, that's the thing I wanted to make sure we ask you. And if you can, please.
No.
No. No, quick. Just for like 3
So she's
seconds.
like, I knew this was going to happen. I knew it.
Oh. That's one of my favorite things that he would do when we were kids.
It's a party favorite for all the kids. That grosses them out and they run to their mom.
And he would walk on the ends of his feet, right?
Like on your tippy toes?
Yes.
Okay.
Devin's a
That
character.
was weird. That was really weird.
Yeah. I do remember that you were a grade older in school, but you were our age. I do remember that.
Trisha, what can you tell us about Devin that maybe we wouldn't know? And you can think about it because we have that question later, but I thought it would be fun to ask you.
That's a good one.
To tell on him. But
well, you being his cousin probably know a lot. That's the problem.
But there's a lot I don't know because it's been so long since I've seen Devin. So
I will tell you one.
Okay.
He's got a patent that is for an electrical product.
Oh, this is good.
That has been picked up by a company out of Canada.
Okay. That's awesome. That is cool.
So this is the reason I married him, because I knew that there was potential.
Well, I was going to ask if he was as promising an eligible bachelor as it sounds, because it sounds like he had the whole package.
Well, I always say my mom loved him before I did.
Oh, okay. That helps.
So if that tells you something.
Yeah.
I don't know though,
He wore you down.
No, he didn't. But you know what? You just know when you click. And maybe you guys felt that same way, but it was just like it clicked really fast.
That makes sense.
We're amazed how many things you guys had in common that you.
Yeah. Those questions you were asking Devin's brother, he was able to check those off pretty well.
Well, the nice part is I grew up on 2 farms. He grew up on a farm.
Yeah.
So I was a farm girl, and so it just all kind of went together.
Do you have any farm stuff now? You don't have pets, but do you have any, like your family farm or anything?
We have a riding lawnmower.
we had three steers that we raised a year ago. So I guess they weren't pets, but once we butchered them and they came here and actually did it on site. And so once that happened, Trish said, we're not doing that again because these were almost like pets, they follow you around if you went out there and stuff. So we're done with that. So we've got like 5 acres.
I get that. Okay. That's awesome.
Trisha, how many of Devin's cousins have you met?
Well, I know Heather.
Okay.
And in fact, right after we got married, Heather bought my car.
Oh.
I would say I don't know a lot.
Okay. Well, he's kind of keeping them away because
I'm bad because it's like, the guy that you go into a store and if you see somebody, you tuck and roll. I might have to talk.
That guy's from Grace.
Yeah.
But now everybody's going to know you. So
that's right.
You're on that show.
I think millions are watching this now, aren't they?
At least.
Something like that.
That's what I thought.
Well, and I have to tell you, it was inevitable that we met, though, because I worked at Premium Ice Cream. If you remember Premium Ice Cream in Logan.
Yeah. You've had those, right? The creamies?
Corky? Yes.
Sounds a little familiar.
Yeah. The little ice cream popsicle type thing.
Okay.
But do you remember Dwayne and Darlene James?
Are they Chad James's parents? Okay.
Yes. Yes, I knew Chad.
Oh, okay.
You knew Chad. Okay.
I did. I knew Chad. And anyway, we would go to Dwayne and Darlene's house. Well, his sister Geraldine, her husband Brian, lived with the Jameses.
Oh, okay.
I never met him. I always heard about this Brian, but I never met him.
Oh. So how did you met Brian? You would have met Geraldine. Gotcha.
Well, and then my sister moved to Logan, and she lived in an apartment right in front of the house Devin bought. So it was kind of like it was inevitable in a lot of ways.
That's crazy.
But just the timing.
Yeah. That's awesome. Were you still going to school when you met, or were you already working as a nurse?
I was already working. I had graduated with my associate's degree. And then Weber State did a pilot program on Saturdays to get a bachelor's degree. And so I was just finishing my bachelor's degree when we met, and I graduated just after we got married.
Okay. Awesome.
Very good.
Give Me Grace, a podcast by Alan and Nolan, will return after these brief messages.
At Alder Cabinet Installations, we design classy cabinets for classy people. Looking for a custom cabinet installation for your home or business? Let Alder Cabinet Installations do the work for you. Let us save you money and reduce frustration. We do kitchens, bathrooms, entertainment centers, family rooms, mud rooms, laundry rooms, home offices, and more. Alder Cabinet Installations. Would you like to see the custom cabinets we can design for you? Alder would. Visit our website, aldercabinet1.com, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Now back to this episode of Give Me Grace, a podcast by Alan and Nolan.
Well, you're welcome to stay and hang out while we grill Devin on more questions.
Well, I tell you what, I'm loving it, but I will
better
leave
things
for
to
a
do.
few minutes. But
Yeah.
it's nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you too, Trisha. Yeah.
Yeah,
thanks
so
for
many
coming on.
of the wives always hide during these episodes because they don't want to be on.
Husbands too, for that matter.
Yeah, husbands too.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of you.
Yeah, good.
Awesome. So I think we're about to dig into some Grace stuff too.
Yeah.
So
We know that you probably went to Grace Elementary, right? You never went to Thatcher.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
only Grace.
Any specific stories or favorite teachers from Grace Elementary?
Well, Corky, you went to Grace a little bit or whatever.
Yep.
Mrs. Gibson, the lunch lady,
Okay.
she was all over it. You know, you didn't leave there without emptying your tray completely.
I remember getting caught a time or two. Yeah.
Yeah, and like if you were being rowdy, she came over with her fingernail on top of your head. And so there we got to the point where we were hiding stuff in the milk carton.
That's
You
what
throw it
Kevin
away that
Anderson said.
Yeah.
But then she got onto that too. And so she'd shake your milk carton. And so then if you would put food in there and now it had milk on it, and she'd dump it back on your tray and make you go sit down and finish it.
That's awesome.
So one day, I think we were in like 5th grade and got done eating, head out to the playground. Jeff Taggart comes out there and we're getting ready to get on the swings. He's like, oh, just a minute. He reaches in his pocket and starts pulling his pockets out, and he empties fresh peaches. I'm like, no way. He's like, yeah. He'd hid peaches in both pockets, and I'm just like, that was grossing me out. I'm like, I'd have eaten them before I put them in my pockets.
Must have hated peaches.
In Kevin's episode, he talks about putting spinach in his milk carton.
Yeah, that's
I can't even imagine eating spinach that's had milk on it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that's dedication. That's dedication to your job for sure. Yeah. Did you have Mrs. Wilker in 4th grade?
Yes.
Up the upstairs room?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I broke my arm in 4th grade.
Did.
What were you doing?
I was playing on the monkey bars, and you know, I don't remember what they called it, and you'd go out there and then somebody'd wrap their legs around and you'd try to like knock them off or whatever.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember that game.
So I was playing against the 6th graders, and you know, that monkey bar set was in a circle kind of thing, and there was like 4 spots where you could stand on the edge and then jump to the middle or whatever. And so I had my plan on how I was going to beat these guys, and so I looked left, looked right, looked at the bar, then I looked left again and jumped and missed the bar and came down and just broke my wrist. And so then Donald Smith had to do my homework for me for a month or so while I was in my cast. But
all right.
So we've heard of accidents on the Thatcher playground. Now we've got the first Grace playground accident.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Didn't somebody else break their arm, or they said they did on April Fools? That's what it was.
David
Yeah.
Shaw.
Oh,
David Shaw joked that he broke his arm.
Larry Thornack, he broke both his arms jumping out of the swing set once at grade school. So he had casts on both arms.
That's rough. Donald would really have to do that homework, wouldn't he? Wow.
Yeah.
Why was it Donald that had to do your homework? He was your best friend or something?
Yeah. Yeah. He was willing.
What about junior high? Who was your favorite junior high school teacher?
I don't know. I don't know that I.
No, you have a favorite? You love them equally?
Yes, that's what it was.
Well, I don't know about you, Nolan, but I don't remember like going to seventh grade and seeing like the eighth graders. You would have been there, but I don't remember interacting with the eighth
They
graders.
kind
I
of
don't know if we
kept
were
us
that.
separate, didn't they?
Yeah, we were separated for
That's
stuff.
weird.
I
That's
just
a good
don't.
point.
I don't remember being in a school with like the year older or the year younger.
You know, I guess the way our junior high was built, it's kind of like cubicles, really.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
And
Yeah,
so it's not like you had hallways where we would maybe.
I
see
guess,
them.
but like out front in the
Mm.
driveway there,
Maybe
the
we were
court.
scared of them. They were bigger than
Maybe
us.
they bullied us. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it happened.
Yeah.
And then of course when you guys went to eighth, then you did the same. So
Yeah, that's the way bullying works, right? It's just
Yeah.
passed down. Yeah.
So you never got a SWAT?
well, that's not true.
You got a SWAT?
I did. So Coach Kill
Yeah. Okay.
gave me a SWAT
Okay.
because there was supposed to be the basketball game and it ended up getting canceled, I think, because it was snowing pretty good. And so they canceled the game. And so they told all the players on the basketball team, it's like, you need to go out and call your parents, let them know that the game's been canceled and stuff so that they're aware. And so Coach Kill's like, okay, so all the basketball team, he's like, you need to go, go ahead, go call your parents. And I was just sitting there because I wasn't on the basketball team. And Coach Kill looks at me and he's like, Devin, aren't you going to go? I said, oh, yeah. So I got up and left. I didn't say I was on the ball team. He just asked if I was going to go. So I got up and left. When I come back, somebody ratted me out, of course, that I wasn't on the ball team. He's like, you on the ball team? And I'm like, no, you never asked if I was. You just told me you asked if I was going to go. So I said, yeah. So then he says, well, that's lying. And so I got a SWAT for it.
How about
Mm.
that? Oh,
An actual SWAT.
Yeah.
wow. How about that?
Yeah, we were talking about that paddle with the holes in it.
Yeah. I think they all had a name.
No, the paddle had a name?
I think so. I think he carved the name in it, but I don't know what it was.
Maybe.
Hmm.
That'll be interesting if we can
Mystery. We'll have to see if we can find that out.
confirm that.
Yeah.
High school days. Tell us about your high school days. Any good stories? Anybody you want to share a story about? Any
Sure.
teachers?
Yeah. So Coach Smith, I worked for him, for Lynn, on his farm. And I was walking down the hall one day, and Teresa, his daughter, was ahead of me. And she's like, Dad, give me your keys. She wanted his truck keys because she wanted to go up the easy way for lunch, And he's like, no, you're not taking my truck, and she argued with him a little bit. And he's like, no. And I says, hey, Lynn. And that's all I said. Hey, Lynn. He turned around and tossed me his keys. And Teresa was fuming.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Lynn. And he's like, just don't take her.
Well, that confirms he liked you then.
I don't know, though, because I tried to sign up for his weight class and I was in another class and I was going to drop that one and change to his weight class. And so I had to have the papers signed. So I took it to him and I'm like, hey, I want to get in your weight class. And he's like, you won't like it. And I'm like, why not? And he goes, there's not any weights in there small enough for you.
Wow.
So that made me mad. So I didn't take the class.
You did a good imitation of him.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That seemed like him. That seemed like exactly what he was saying.
He was one of the ones that was always poking you in the chest. You guys were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember Mr. Wolf.
Oh yeah. He did that too.
Yeah. I think they all did.
Yeah. Those two for sure.
Um,
But I was thinking the other day, sometimes people don't realize really what it was like growing up in Grace at that time. But picture this happen in today's age. So there was an away ball game. And of course, I wasn't on the basketball team because I didn't do sports. And so I was just going to ride the activity bus to Malad to go watch the game. So I get there, and Calvin Lloyd was one of the bus drivers, and he was driving the activity bus. And so I go to get on the bus, and he's like, "Hey, Devin," and I can't remember whether I was a senior or a junior, but he had a pretty nice Camaro. And he says, "I need my Camaro in Malad, but I got to drive the bus. Will you take my car for me?" And I'm like, "All right, can I take a friend?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I took one friend with me, but it's like, can you imagine? I mean, the parents have no idea you're driving the bus driver's car clear to Malad, you know. Like, I just don't think you could get away with that today.
That seems like Corky's story when he took someone's.
Well, that was just us. Yeah, I was driving to Bear Lake. I had people drive my car, and then I had to get off the bus to drive it home. But I was thinking of one really similarly. When I was in junior high, my parents had gone to Jackson Hole for the day. I think it was my parents, and my sister and I didn't go. But then we were sitting around, and she was talking to Karen, Dave's sister, and I was with Dave, and they decided they wanted to go to Jackson. So they called Mr. Green and said, "Can we borrow your car to go to Jackson?" And we were in his car going to Jackson, the four of us. Just nutty stuff. Yeah. It's just, I wouldn't do that for like a kid I know, some kid I know in my town.
Or if your kids did that, you'd be going, "No."
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You're gonna let your friends drive our car? What?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Times have changed, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a combination of the time, but also the community, I think, like Devin's saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and like another crazy one I was thinking about was Shane Lester. So he was Gary's age. So he's like 2 years older than me. But his grandma fell, and I don't remember if she broke her hip or what. But anyway, he had to call the ambulance. So he calls the ambulance. The ambulance shows up with LaRon Kimball, Kathy's older brother, and someone else. And so they load her up in the ambulance. Shane, he's sitting in the front passenger seat. LaRon's driving the ambulance. They're headed up to the ER. And LaRon keeps looking in the mirror and looking back there, you know. And Shane's like, what's wrong? He goes, I think it was a gal back there. He's like, she could really use some help. Do you mind driving? And so LaRon gets in the back to help the other EMT, and Shane drives his grandma to the hospital in the ambulance.
Just drive slow.
That's crazy. Yeah.
That's a good story. What is something from that time that you think about regularly other than that? Do you think about other things from that time or those times?
Nothing's sticking out, really.
All the crazy things. Did you do like 23 or Flume and stuff like that? Or
I did the Flume a little bit. 23 was more just gas bombs off the bridge at night. What?
with who?
Usually Brent, and then we taught Gary how once because he was curious. But
so, how do you do a gas bomb?
So you take a gallon jug, milk jug,
okay,
go to the easy way, and you fill it up with gas, and then you take an old sock and you kind of soak it in gas, lay the sock over the top of the jug and push the lid on. Then you hold that jug, and when your buddy lights it, you chuck it. And you go out like at midnight and stuff. So when it hits the rocks at the bottom, it just blows up so big, it lights up the whole valley.
About that.
And it's harmless, right? I mean, it's not going to hurt anyone unless you get yourself on fire or something. But other than that, you know, it's your own fault.
It's true. It is literally a victimless crime.
Yeah. Maybe PETA was coming after you for that.
Well, why? What? That didn't hurt no animals.
Okay. So it's kind of like a Molotov cocktail, but bigger.
Yeah,
but bigger.
Impressive. If you want to try it, it's impressive.
Oh, wow. I know probably Brent and Jared Holtz did a lot of things kind of like that, right? Those kind of.
Yeah, all innocent fun. Yes.
Yeah. That's the first I've heard of that one, though. That's a good one.
Good one. Yeah, I didn't hear of that at the time either. That's a good one. All right.
Nobody ever caught you doing that, or you never got in trouble for anything?
No, you knew to just do it once and then get out of the area.
What was the guy's name? Kent?
Yeah, Kent.
So
Oh, Kent Corbett.
Kent Corbett. Isn't that crazy? I just thought about that. Kent Bailey and Kent Corbett.
Oh yeah.
But so Kent Corbett wasn't like, hey, teenagers are coming and buying a gallon of gas at a time on a regular basis. What are you doing with all that gas?
Yeah.
It was hard times. That's all we could afford, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Probably for their motorcycles. Let them go.
Yeah, they're just filling up their motorcycles at night on the bridge.
Yeah.
Just really puzzled by the sock. Like,
They didn't.
why are they
need to see the
making a
song.
fuse? Now I'm concerned.
All right.
So, Grace grab bag. We ready?
Mhm.
So, 20 years ago, Napoleon Dynamite came out. Do you remember anything about that time?
Yes, I was working down where I'm working now, and my boss, he was getting closer to retirement, so he was a little bit older than that, and he starts talking about some show, Napoleon Dynamite, and he said that he had watched it with his kids, and I'm like, I've never even heard of this. What, you know? So he was telling me a little bit about it. He's like, no, you got to watch it, and it's from up in Preston and stuff, and he actually had lived in Preston for a time, and he's like, yeah, it was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I'm like, oh, okay. So I watched it, and I was the same thing. I was like, that was an hour and a half of my life I'll never get back. And so I thought that was just really stupid, right? And so then you get in a group and you start talking about somebody else has seen Napoleon Dynamite, and then it's like, oh, you remember this scene when he does, and you're like, oh, that was funny. Oh, you remember this? Oh, that was funny. Pretty soon you're going, maybe I did like that.
So have you watched it multiple times and a few times in Spanish too?
I've probably seen it 3 times now.
Oh, really? Okay. So not a very big fan then.
Nah.
Okay.
What about Bluebell or Turner's?
Bluebell. In fact, I didn't realize you could even go into Turner's. I was like, that's just for the older folks and we're not allowed.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't think I ever did.
That's where the farmers went to get their coffee.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what it felt like. It's like that was Facebook and we were over on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. What'd you do at Bluebell?
Probably just English chips and a burger, and I didn't spend much money on the arcades at all because I did that one time when I was little and I wasn't sure how the game worked, and I put a quarter in, and Gary standing over my shoulder telling me, he's like, we got to shoot those guys. So I'm sitting there shooting and I'm blowing up all my cover, which I didn't realize, and it's like didn't take long and that quarter was gone, and I'm like, I'm not doing that again. That was a waste of my money.
I think
that's a core memory right there.
But
that's right.
It makes sense. So he was frugal, saving up for a house and a snowmobile, and and we were blowing all our money.
Fine with the big purchases. It's that little stuff that'll kill you.
Yeah.
We were blowing all our money at the Bluebell.
Yeah.
Did your parents guide you away from Bluebell? Did they not like you hanging out there, or did you find you had the time?
If I wanted the time, I had it. I could do that, but.
Right. What about Soda or Preston?
Soda.
What'd you do up Soda way?
Probably just what was it, $1 theater, $1 one night or something.
Yeah.
Tuesday nights, right?
If I was going up there, it was probably just for the movies.
Any Brass Lantern? Did you hit the Brass Lantern?
Yeah, did some Brass Lantern.
I think Tuesday night was $1 night, right? If I remember right.
Yeah, I bet it was.
Yeah. I remember speaking to my brother Sean, speaking of Idaho. In the summer, I think, the sun stays out later, obviously. And so we could get done with our chores at 9:15 for a 9:30 movie in Soda and still make it on time. So, yeah.
Because he was driving.
He was driving, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a haul from your place.
Yeah. Yeah, he would have that speedometer way past 85 coming back up the other side.
Oh yeah, I had a car like that. It didn't have the little peg there. It would go past.
Yeah,
that was fun. Yeah,
it was fun.
That was a really bad mistake by the manufacturer to let it go past numbers. All right, Pocatello or Logan?
Logan.
So you went from Soda and then you just switched over to Logan then.
Yeah.
Soda to Pocatello. Okay.
Pokey.
Yeah. Okay.
It's Pokey then, it's Pocatello now.
When you were a freshman at Utah State, you were rooming with Ryan Andreessen? Or
Not then. That was after my mission that I
Who
was
did you-
rooming with
did
him.
you room with anyone from Grace?
Yeah, Travis Gilbert.
Oh, okay. Trav.
So what kind of fun things did freshmen at Utah State do?
Well,
Logan?
so when we were living there, we were living in a fourplex. There was 2 on the bottom and 2 upper units, and I was in the top left, and my brother Gary was in the bottom right.
Okay.
And so one weekend we decided the 4 of us were going to go to Vegas. And so I told Travis, I says, hey, we're going down to Vegas this weekend. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll call my mom. And I'm like, what? It's like, well, I got to call my mom. I'm like, no, you don't. I says, you're in college now. You don't get permission or nothing. You just go do what you want to do. And he would not. He's like, no, I've got to at least let her know where I am. I'm like, all right.
What a good boy.
How about that? Incorruptible, that guy.
That's right.
Sounds like a future bishop right there.
Yeah.
I always
Happens,
liked Trav.
doesn't it?
So what do 4 guys do in Vegas when you're not 21?
You know, the only thing I can even remember about that trip was we were down about Santaquin. The roommate that Gary had, which was one of his mission companions, his girlfriend had a little Chevy Sprint, a little 3-cylinder car.
Oh, I had a Sprint. Yeah.
And so we borrowed that because we're like, hey, we're going to be frugal, right? We're college students. We got to save some money on this trip. So let's take the most economical. Well, it would barely do 75 miles an hour downhill with the tailwind.
Yeah.
And so we're flying along as fast as we can go, and we're trying to pass this semi. And we get up alongside of him, and as soon as we nosed out in front of him, and he wasn't like blocking wind or whatever off the side or something, we'd go back and we couldn't get past him. And we tried like 3 or 4 times. And I think the last time he started feeling sorry for us, we'd all rolled down the windows and we were like we were rowing the boat. And he let off and let us go by. And then shortly after we passed him, this chicken comes running out across the freeway, and we nailed it. And there was feathers all over behind us. And that's all I can remember about that trip is those 2 things.
You don't even know if you made it to Vegas, huh?
I don't.
That's awesome.
You probably
I
like,
don't.
we better turn around.
Yeah, that was fun.
Travis's mom probably called.
We got to tell
Yeah.
Travis's mom about the chicken. Yeah.
No, it's crazy. We didn't have cell phones. Like,
Yeah,
it was
Different
and we
time.
survived.
payphones. Pull over and use a payphone.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I think we've gotten conditioned as parents to have tighter knowledge of where our kids are because of the technology allows it.
Yeah,
For better and worse, probably.
yeah. A lot worse for the kids. They hate it.
Oh,
Yeah, that's true.
I do need to ask him a question.
Yeah.
Since he lives in the Logan area, have you had the corn dog company?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. In fact, I went there the day they opened because I ran into Val Jean and he was telling me about it. He's like, yeah, Ryan's going to open this. Told me the date. So I went there on opening day.
Awesome.
You go from time to time, or you've only been once?
Well, I shouldn't say because he'll watch, but I've only been once.
Well,
What'd you get that day?
we'll get you to come back.
Just the corn dog. I don't remember what.
Okay.
I think there's like 3 options or something, but
What did you put ketchup or mustard?
a little bit of both.
Oh,
And then I think he came over with the honey. He's like, no, you got to have honey.
yeah. I've tried it with the honey. It's really good. It's interesting. I think I could go for that honey on the corn dog.
All right. The county fair. Was this something you look forward to in the summer? Did you go a lot?
Yeah. Like back in the day growing up and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a big deal.
What would you do there?
Just wander around.
That's
Yeah.
when you get to see all your cousins, probably, right?
Exactly.
This is like a Mickelson family reunion right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of took over the dairy cattle barns there.
Oh, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
I don't
for
think I
sure.
ever went. Isn't that funny? I never went over to the
Been
cow
down-
barns. Yeah.
Yeah. I always did. I always walked through there.
Yeah, carefully.
Yeah. That's the thing, Nolan. We couldn't get away with anything up there because there was a cousin somewhere or an aunt and uncle.
Oh,
Somebody
that's a really
seen
good point. Eyes everywhere.
Yeah.
Throw a rock in the air and hit a cousin, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did you like the rodeo, or you just went to the carnival and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd go to the rodeo.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did you have a lot of Thomas cousins in
Now,
there?
where's your dad from?
No, they're right there. So
They're
mom
from-
and dad are both from Grace.
Oh, is that right? Your dad is from Grace too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was the oldest of 4 boys. So there was just 3. And one lived in California and one lived in Alaska. And then Sherm was the other one, and he lived up there.
But you didn't have much cousins or anything on that side.
No, I had 2 cousins from Sherm's first marriage, and then they divorced, and she moved to Soda, and I really never saw those 2. They were twins, Brooke and Brandy, and then he remarried, and he had a son, Cameron. So there's Cameron Thomas, and he still lives up there.
Okay. Very good. I gotta say, I remember your parents pretty well when we moved to Grace to town. We moved into the same ward, the same congregation
Yeah.
as the Thomases. And I always remember your parents. They were really good to my parents and really good to us as well. I always remember your family as a really strong, strong family. My dad got hurt right after we moved out. So we needed a lot of help, and we got it. So your family right there.
Yeah. I told my mom she's earned 6 Eagles
Yeah,
awards.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Moms do a lot with that.
Yeah, they do.
Did you enjoy scouting?
Yeah, for the most part.
Good excuse to light a fire, huh?
There you go.
With some what do they call it? Boy Scout water?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can light your fire. Here, hang on. Stand back, boys. I'm going to light this.
If there were a display of like the worst scouts ever at the scouting headquarters, I would be on it. I would have a plaque. I was worthless as a scout.
Missed it by that much.
Yeah. It wasn't for lack of help and encouragement and support. I just didn't get there.
I wasn't in scouting either.
Oh, you weren't in scouting?
I made it to 2nd class, I think.
Okay, that's about where I mean, you get 2nd class by being in there a year, I think. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, my dad was just like, you might as well just be at home on the farm rather than go up there and tie knots.
Mess around.
So Craig Mansfield was one of our scout leaders, and we'd go to Logan for the swimming merit badge because that was like the closest pool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Logan.
Except for lava, but
Well, not in the wintertime though.
okay.
So
Yeah.
I got you.
So I remember Craig was taking us to Logan, and he bought me dinner because I didn't have any money, and my parents wouldn't have sent me with money. And he said, "You don't have to pay me back if you make 1st class," which is a brilliant move, right?
Yeah.
But on my mind, I've got to make 1st class so I don't have to pay Craig back. But I never, and I never paid him back either. So
That's 2 in this
That's what I was
episode.
gonna say.
that's 2 that I've stiffed.
Man.
You owe Craig a dinner and $5 to Devin.
Yeah.
$250.
Hey, let's loan Corky some money, guys. It's a good investment.
We'll start
Don't hire him and don't lend him any money.
Oh my gosh. You're good for it though, I think.
Well, you would think so, wouldn't you? But those debts are still out there, so you tell me.
Yeah, we'll talk integrity in another episode.
That's right.
So pay to the order of Devin Thomas.
Yeah.
$2.50.
Yeah, I should do that.
Got my checkbook. I have to pay you in change. Let's see. We already kind of asked what's something we might know about you. And so I think your wife shared about your patent. Can you tell us any more about that, or is that you can't tell us about that?
Yeah. So it's an electrical product that is used for construction. Like when you got conduits coming under slab and then they turn up to go to like an outlet or a light switch or whatever. And so it's just a product that just snaps on and holds the pipes to the right space for the box you're going to put on later. And then the other part is a cap that keeps all the moisture and any debris and stuff out of them while you're building. And
so is this something you improvised out of need while you were doing the construction?
Yes. Yeah. Myself and another guy, a buddy of mine, we were working on a job and we got to that stage and they're like, yeah, you just take duct tape and wrap around these pipes and then put duct tape over the top of it. And we're like, well, but later you got to come back and make these pipes, and they're poured in concrete now and you got to pull them apart and get this spacing to put the box on. It's like, isn't there something that can do that? And they're like, never seen anything, so we started looking couldn't find anything. And so we're like, let's do that. So we went through the process and got a patent. And
That's cool. Did you build a prototype, or did you just have a design?
yeah, we built a prototype and then we kind of altered it from there. And now we mass produce them. And
That's awesome.
So it's a product. It's not just that you have a patent. It's actually being marketed in Canada
and throughout the United States. I've actually been selling it for about 20 years now.
Oh, okay.
So,
and so with it, I have 19 different products, just with different sizes, a little bit different styles. And then I did another patent a few years ago, and it's another device for doing construction work. It's electrical as well.
You're selling this to contractors and electricians, not to end users. This is people who build.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I think this month I just hit 1 million pieces sold.
How about that? Congrats.
Yeah.
That's so
$1 a piece.
yeah, that'd be nice.
So,
well, that's the thing. This year, it's gone over 1,200% more increase from last year. So
okay.
So it's gaining.
And I just barely took this new company on. The one that she mentioned, that they just barely picked it up first of the year. So
okay.
Yeah.
Before that, were you manufacturing and stuff, or did you have a different company before?
So I just have a company manufacture for me, and then I fulfill orders.
Okay.
So between that and your full-time job and being a town council,
busy guy,
you're
quite stretching. You're burning candles at both ends, it sounds like.
Yes, pretty much.
You're burning the gallon of gas at both ends.
It goes quick.
Those socks had no chance.
I love the idea that you're an electrician. You're like, you know what? I'm a freaking Eagle Scout. There's got to be a better way. And you came up with it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So thanks to Aunt Nita for getting you the Eagle Scout.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
You could do
Yeah.
that.
Hopefully she gets her cut. That's all I'm saying.
That's right. I figured when we did it, I thought it was like, here's an idea. You take it down to this place and you say, this is our idea. They give you $100,000 and you walk out and you're done with it. But it's
sell your patent.
It's been quite a process, to make molds and everything else.
So a lot of times when you make a patent, if you're working for a company, the company has the patent, right?
Right.
So you were able to get your own patent. How did you do that?
Well, I didn't really think about that part of it and everything. And then one day my boss heard something about it and he's like, working for me, that's actually mine, And then he just like didn't do any, then it was like, no, it's fine, whatever.
Okay.
So I'm like,
that's friendly.
Yeah. So if the company doesn't know that you did it, then you can do it, basically.
Well, or if they're okay with it.
Something like that.
But then when I went to work for the power company, in part of the paperwork I had to fill out, the question was, do you have any current patents? If so, what is it? What's the number? What's,
Really?
Yeah. And my company is called Slammers Inc.
Okay.
And so when I'd get stuff delivered here, the truck driver would be like, yeah, I looked at that and I was like, Slammers Inc. And I'm going, is this going to be a bar or where am I delivering to?
That's right. It's a batting cage in Paris.
Yeah.
How did you come up with Slammers?
I'm not sure. It was called one of those things where we need a name right now because something was waiting on it.
I'm sitting in the county office right now and I need a
name.
Were you in the Slammer?
Yeah, there you go. No, I've never been there.
Never been to the Slammer.
Yeah, we buried the lead on what we don't know about Devin. Slammers Inc. gives us a clue. Yeah.
What was the last time that you were in Grace?
Last Friday.
Oh.
Okay. You have people there?
Potatoes.
Oh, okay.
You went to buy potatoes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. I miss the potatoes from the valley.
Yeah, I used to take a trailer, and buy tons for everybody around that wanted them or whatever, and that just was more and more inconvenient. So I don't tell them when I'm going anymore, and I go get what I need and I come back.
Which type of potato do you get? The russet or the?
Yep, just the russet.
Did you all have potatoes?
We did, like when I was in grade school till about junior high, and then we had a really bad year and the money went away and so the bank told us we were done running potatoes.
I didn't realize what a process that was, especially for the potato farmers. I mean, I just don't imagine like sort of the mental toughness and the faith of those dudes, because you're like mortgaged every spring. You're like mortgage to the hilt, and then you're just working on these crops, and then you get back flush, and then you start over again. It's crazy.
Yeah. I was talking to David Miles probably 10, 15 years ago, and he was saying me and Everett now together run what used to be 10 family farms.
Yeah. Yeah, they've
And
consolidated. So
and it's all we can do to provide for our families with that many, And that's the thing. It doesn't matter whether you've got 400 acres or 4,000 acres. The tractors cost the same amount, and
that's
all
true.
that.
The expenses are exponential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who took over your farm?
It ended up getting sold to somebody out of Utah.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
So in Grace, how many farmers do you think still do potatoes, like the Gibbs and the Stoddards and the Gilberts?
Gibbs, Stoddards, Gilberts, Christensens.
Yeah, it used to be so many people had at least 40 acres of potatoes or something, right?
Yeah.
Huh.
Nutty.
What does a bag of potatoes go for nowadays?
$15.
15. I think when I was a kid, it was like $4 for a big bag of potatoes, right?
Yeah.
But 15 is still good.
That might have been the local rate too. You
Yeah.
know, maybe they sold
Fresh
them.
from the field, they just sell them for cheaper, but maybe.
I remember doing that. The farmer would let people walk through the field after potato harvest. My mom always had us do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go gather up the ones that are just laying there.
Yeah.
Okay. So how often do you go back to Grace? Just during potato harvest?
Yeah. I mean, a couple times a year maybe is all, unless when I'm going to help with work or something. If I'm going to Grace to give them a hand, I'll go up there, but not too often.
Curtis is in Grace, right?
Yeah. Curtis is up there in Lego.
Okay.
Anyone else?
And then dad's still up there.
Okay. Awesome. Everyone else is scattered around, huh?
Yeah.
What does growing up in Grace mean to you?
I've said so many times, I wish I could have raised my kids the way I had, just being able to get out there and work and experience all that. I remember talking to kids, like when you're going to college and stuff, and they're like, you lived in this small little town? I'm like, well, I didn't quite live in the town. I mean, I was 6-7 miles out. And my nearest neighbor was a mile away. Yeah. And it's like, what did you do for fun? And I'm like, oh, buddy, what didn't we do for fun?
So on a dark night, have you ever seen a fire go out of nowhere? That was awesome.
I don't know. You just learn so much and so many different things. Like my wife's always like, is there anything you can't do? It's like, no matter what, you just fix it, tear it apart, repair it, whatever. And
my wife's like, you're from Grace, right? Why can't you do this? It's like, you can hire somebody. That's as far as I can go.
It's like working for the school and the park.
Yeah, it's like, call Chuck Smith and ask him. He'll tell you I can't do this.
I couldn't even retrieve the marker.
Oh man, the slot was in the wrong place. It wasn't your fault.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, that and gravity. I mean, how do you beat that?
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm still losing that battle, Devin.
So, just think of his mind. He's like, okay, I can either tell him that I couldn't find the marker, or I can tell him that it fell down the slot. He's not going to believe either of those.
Yeah, I kind of choked. That was
maybe you should have just tried. Chuck, funny story.
I know. He probably would have got a kick out of it. Probably would have asked the dudes to go get it, and we would have been fine. And he would have had a fun story to tell. Yeah. I ruined all that.
Is there something from your time growing up that you would do differently?
I spent a lot of money on other people's wives because I dated for a lot of years.
I was going to say, okay.
That's true.
Like a episode altogether.
Not quite what it sounds like.
Not when they were married. Not before they were.
They were their future wives. They just weren't my future wife.
And that's the thing. Before social media, you had to plunk down a little cash to get to know somebody.
Yeah.
You couldn't just look at a profile and swipe. You had to go to dinner. Yeah.
But, I mean, I was working and I had enough, to do whatever. And you really didn't want to go out to eat alone and you didn't want to cook dinner for yourself. So it's like, I was just dating a lot. It's like, hey, we'll go out to eat,
Yeah. So you're with somebody, you're sitting down to dinner. He says, I'm so glad you asked me out. And you're like, well, I didn't want to eat dinner alone. And I don't want to.
Exactly.
Oh, here we are.
Yeah.
Did you date a lot in high school?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. Or hung out or something.
Yeah.
In fact, I was dating Wendy Bitton
Okay.
Rusty McCurdy. And I decided, like, hey, let's go down and we'll toilet paper the Bittons. And so we go down there and we get them toilet papered and we're all but done. And somebody saw us out the window or something. And so Shelly and Wendy's mom comes to the door and she's like, hey guys, how are you? Come in and have some cake and ice cream. So we go sit down and we're eating chocolate cake and ice cream on the couch. And she tells Shelly and Wendy, go out there and clean that mess up.
Oh,
Wow.
And so we're sitting on their couch eating cake and ice cream, and they're out cleaning up the toilet paper we just done. And they're looking at us through the window like, how does this
Great
work?
for the relationship. What is it with you and parents? You got Lynn throwing you the car keys despite his daughter. Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
Maybe they really liked him and like, okay, he'd be perfect for our daughter Wendy. So come in and she can clean up the mess.
Or they were trying. Maybe she was playing chess and she was trying to drive a wedge in the relationship. Get Wendy to resent.
It's really nice.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Yeah.
That's the most likely.
Yeah, come in and have dessert with us while my daughter's go out and clean up.
Don't worry about that mess. We got that covered.
That's
Oh, wow.
It's just good to see you. Have some cake and ice cream.
How do you feel you've changed? Or you kind of mentioned maybe you haven't changed.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't grown up. I don't know. I think I've become a lot more interested and caring for people. And that's one thing I've enjoyed about watching these podcasts is like you genuinely want to know and see how people are doing and you want to know that they're doing well, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know, that one I watched with Kirsten Rasmussen and how she came through her struggles and stuff. And it makes your heart feel so good to know that it's like, good. She's doing great, you know? And it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, many people comment on how inspiring her story is. And also that they knew what was going on from what other people had said, but they were glad to hear it from her.
Yeah.
What she went through.
Well, and that's the thing, because those situations, it's like if you run into the individual, it's like, what do you do? What do you say? You know, and it just was so refreshing for her to just be able to open up and say, I'm doing good, you know.
Yeah, it's good that this is bringing people together. People like care about other people. It makes us feel good, like this is worth it, what we're doing.
Right. Well, and it's like, how many people outside your class are you doing now? I mean, are you kind of branched out a lot?
Yeah, you're one of the first, actually.
The first one.
We have some more from 88. You're the first installment from class of 88, but
we had that idea. We wanted to do our class, but we want to also do other classes because, you know, we grew up with everybody.
Yeah, we grew up together.
I had friends that were in class of 88. Corky knew people, you know, from a couple years younger, whatever. It didn't matter what class you were in. We just hung out.
Right.
When us boys got together with you boys, even though you were older than me, Devin and I hung out. So.
Yeah. Well, Letty made a comment one time and she said, we loved hanging out at the Thomases. And I'm like, oh yeah. She goes, yeah, you remember we'd always go down in you guys' bedroom and blow up those metal Band-Aid cans with firecrackers in your rooms. Oh,
that's where we get that from.
That couldn't have been us.
Yeah, we had good times there. I think when my parents needed a babysitter and just ship us over to the Thomases.
Yeah, and hope that you all survive.
Yeah, we had good times. It was fun. It's been really good to have you and to meet your wife, even though it's through Zoom.
Yeah, that was so come on, that was awesome. We wish we could do that every time, and most of the time it doesn't work out, but that was good.
In one of the episodes, Corky talked a lot about your brother Gary and their little league games.
He was 12 when I was 9 in Little League. My first year of Little League, I struck out twice, looking, fastball on the outside corner at the knees. Both times, your brother Gary got me.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. He was a good pitcher, I guess, huh?
Good pitcher. My dad told me that he thought he was the best pitcher he'd seen. Like,
oh, really?
He's like, he's a good pitcher. Yeah. Maybe he's trying to make me feel better.
There you go.
Well, spread the news to class of 88 that
you're looking.
Yeah. We want to continue this as long as we can do it, and
it's
people
a lot of fun.
want to schedule with us. So. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. And we'll be in touch.
Have a good
All
night.
right. Have a good one.
Hush now, don't you cry. Wipe away the teardrop from your eye. You're lying safe in bed. It was all a bad dream spinning in your head. Your mind tricked you to feel the pain of someone close to you leaving the game of life. So here it is, another chance. Wide awake, you face the day. Your dream is over, or has it just begun?